Let's bring in the member for Fowler now, Independent MP Dai. Dai, always good to see you. First of all, can I ask you about what has been discussed a little bit more openly now? Still anonymous Labor sources in the Australian newspaper saying essentially that they're worried about Western Sydney voters in particular and where the government is being viewed in terms of the Israel-Palestinian conflict. Can you bring any insight there?
Look, I think in my office, we have received many emails from constituents from all backgrounds. So it's not just from people who will identify as following the Muslim faith, but from all backgrounds, saying that, as you know, we need to call for a ceasefire. So that's my community are often don't reach out and join mass campaign emails as other communities do. But in this case, in terms of the Israeli-Palestinian issue, there have been a lot of people asking for ceasefire. And many have reached out, to me saying, because I was the first person that they've heard in my capacity as a federal MP, I think on Q&A last year, calling for a ceasefire. And there is that feeling in the community that the government's not doing enough. However, I have also said to many that we need to also acknowledge the atrocity that Hamas did on October 7th. And I think that where everything has failed is that the negotiation for the release of the hostage has not been done successfully. And I think we need to really think about, as somebody who actually has, escaped a war-torn country, I know the impact of war. And I think that for those who have not been involved or have not suffered the consequences of wars, we can't sit on the fence and demand, one, community to act or one leader to act a certain way. It is a very challenging situation, the situation in the Middle East. And I think that as a community, and I keep on saying this, as a multicultural community, we need to maintain that social cohesion because that is so critical. The people that come to our community here in Fowler have escaped war-torn countries. They have suffered the consequences of tyrannical regimes and they have seen bombings and killings. So we have to be measured in how we actually address this issue. It's critical. Now, I understand there are a lot of anger from both sides, and I actually call for both sides to really consider the human consequences. And I really actually appeal to the greater goodness of humanity in all of us here in Australia. Australia is the best country to actually address this whole human carnage that we're seeing happening, not just in the Middle East, but in many wars. We should be leading the example that peace can be achieved and a multicultural society like ours. And Fowler is a great example of that. People who probably hate each other in other countries, they have actually come to call peace here in Australia. We need to tap into that diversity and to build that social cohesion, to give us that national security that we need. We can't, sorry, Laura, I think that both sides, those who are pro-Palestinian, pro-Israeli, both sides have got extreme languages. And I think we need to find a middle way here because at the end of the day, it's the millions of lives that have been lost in this war and the hundreds of hostages that are still waiting to be released. So we have to be so mindful of that.